Hi, this is me again, and this is going to be a short video. And I had to address people because as a single person, living in America, born in America, well, I was born in a DC district or whatever. Being born in this vicinity in the province of the U.S. of A, I ask these questions, and I'm gonna continue to pray into this. And as of this video, people need to, and this is something that I'm beginning to get tired of, and and I know this is gonna come across offensive, and people just gonna have to be offended. And this is especially, and I've gotten this, I haven't dealt with it as much as with black people, black folks really talking about it. It's, white, happily married women who happen to talk like Jesus is my husband, and I'm supposed to just be deeply in love with Jesus because I'm single. Yes, you have the faith, and you have a deep, intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. Yeah. But you're completely ignoring the simple fact is it's hard in America. And because of this woke culture, it's made it hard for people, especially if you're born in America. If you're not of some type of nationality. And I've done videos, and I've also addressed this lady on last weekend. I addressed the lady who was praying for me. There's another lady. She wasn't a far apart from me age, and I had to address her. And I said, and I put it in the comment section. I said, well, I don't really see as much on people that's born in America, like women that's born in America getting husbands. I see, a lot of immigrants. I talk about legal immigrants, not illegal immigrants, but a lot of the women I, really hear about getting husbands are actually immigrants. Maybe because they were trained better, and or some women that and if they're not immigrants, they're somebody who was actually groomed up. And a lot of the ladies that, and I noticed that over years, a lot of ladies who get blessed with some of these husbands, they were groomed. And they had some groomed to be wives. They were their personality wise. And I said, my personality, because I have I'm very vocal, and I'm going to tell people like it is, and sometimes it can come across as offensive, and that will turn off. And because I've shared stuff online, and I've seen some other ladies who are immigrants who, if they're vocal and say what's on their mind, sometimes it depends on it. It might make them hard to get spouses as well, because men and women aren't coming together like they used to. You got people watching everything on their phones, and they're staring at their phones or there's some type of device, and it's hard for people to really communicate. And people need to train people in these fellowships on how to connect. And I'll pray for people who are actually married, and if I see that it looks like people are having issues, and I'll pray for different people, because I don't have hatred towards people, and refrain from being jealous or whatever the case may be towards people who are happily married or people who are married. But I will say this, that there's, people are, by people talking like, I need to know Jesus as my husband for God to bless me with a spouse. As a good majority of happily married people these days, the ones that were married, been married like, say about 20 years. I just say ask all them. The people that's been married, like most of the people, larger now, the people who are married, who are in the faith, who both people are in the faith, ask them if they were in a deep, intimate relationship with Jesus, and before they were blessed with a spouse, were they in a deep husband and wife relationship with Jesus before God blessed them with a spouse? Because everybody wasn't there spiritually before they connected to their spouse. And all this stuff about, and to tell me at 46 years old, I'm 40, as this video, tell a 46-year-old woman that you have to know Jesus as your husband before God blesses you with a spouse. You know how, and I'm going to say it, and I know this will be offensive to some of the deep people who are deeply in the Holy Spirit. I accept it as an insult, telling me when most of these people who are happily married now, and the people who are married, who got blessed with good spouses, who have good spouses, did all of them know Jesus as their husband before they got blessed with a spouse? And I think people need to do a statistical poll in the faith, in the body of Christ. Go to a nice, strong, Holy Spirit-filled ministry where the people who are, ask them. Just just fill out a form. Not verbally, just have them fill out a little form. Did you know Jesus as your husband before God blessed with your husband or wife? Did you know Jesus as your husband? And ask all the women, did you know Jesus as your husband? I know some of these women who I've crossed paths with, God spoke to them about their spouse, and women are sharing testimonies, and I heard testimonies. But I would say most of these women who have good spouses, God did not, I don't believe that God really spoke to them and said that was the one and that was the husband. They just winged it. They had to wing it in prayer, or winging a prayer. And that's the thing that I have issues about. So people they go all ultra spiritual on me when there's an evil agenda to keep people there's an evil attack on the nuclear family right now. You're going to tell me that I have to be so deeply in the Holy Spirit to get a spouse, when there's an evil attack right now on people getting spouses, on heterosexuals. You know how much the alphabet agenda is being pushed, and there's a bunch of alphabet people that's in the church leading flocks and leading leadership roles in the church. Well, in fellowships, I say in fellowships because Bishop Larry Gators had to correct me on the church, the church thing. In fellowships, you know how much people are in these leadership fellowships and who are just, and my thing is this, there are a lot of ministry programs and stuff like that, but people gotta allow people to pray into it, that people actually come together, because people can be in different ministry programs, and that's how some people connect to their significant others too. And then unfortunately, if you're not in some type of ministry program, it's even harder. But I will say this, y'all. People need to pray into this about heterosexuals coming together, because they got all this alphabet stuff pushing. I don't have hatred towards people of the alphabet. And I had to explain to a lady, I had to keep telling an Asian lady at my job that I'm not gay. Because people assume, especially how it's pushed towards the people of color, of the melanated, like that more complected like me, that alphabet stuff is put, and even the NAACP was pushing that. I'm like, dang, y'all, that's that bad. And that's being pushed as another civil rights. And they're trying to associate that with the civil rights. And then you get into the fellowships when people say, and it pisses me off how they try to go all ultra spiritual on you when you want. I'm like, dang, I'm like, and then I ask God, sometimes I'm like, what's wrong with me? Because because, and I've asked Lord, I'm saying, and I had to pray about it, and that's something I had to pray about. And I said, because I don't want to go to hell or whatever the case may be, and I don't want to live in sin. And I'm like, God, this thing about marriage, do you think I would probably live a saved life better as a wife than I would be as a person who decided to remain single? And that's the question I put out there, because I've been wanting a husband since I was a little girl. My dream was to grow up and be a wife and mother, get married young. Actually get married young and grow up. And by this time, my kids are, I might, at 46, my oldest children be done, age where they start having their own family of their own, getting married and having their family of their own. Because some people at my age, they got children in their 46 years old. Some of them, they got children in their 20s and getting married. And some people at my age, I say, are grandparents, because they had children at a younger age, and their children, they grew up, and some of them are in their 20s, 46 years old. If I had a baby at 20 years old or 21, I'd have a child in their early 20s. And some young people are getting married in their early 20s, or some people might end up having their baby out of wedlock, or then they're having children in their late teens. And people at my age are grandparents. And I want it. And I'm learning stuff over the years. As longer I'm single, I'm learning stuff, and I'm watching people. And I'm watching people's pits and falls. Much as I had wanted to, I'm watching people's pits and falls in their relationships. But I will say this. Something to pray about. And the people in fellowships need to pray into this, because people are getting restless, and people like me are getting restless right now. I don't want to be like I'm desperate or I'm just like, or anything like that, but it would be nice. But I'm like, I want to live a godly, holy life before God, but I don't want to desire marriage and then I would live better a saved life as a single person and never getting married. But I've been struggling as a single person because I don't want to keep desiring to be with different individuals, and because I've had to, within the last years or so, I've had this cycle of praying, of having feelings for different guys over the years, and I had to pray off this guy, and I had to pray, and I had to get over this guy, and I had to get over that guy, and I had to get over this guy, and I had to get over that guy, and I don't like having to have those situations. And I'm like, God, do you want, because I might just not think about these guys, and it's getting worse. The longer I stay single, it's getting worse and worse. The struggle is getting harder and harder. And it has nothing to do with anything going downstairs in my body, like that. It's just that I don't want to keep thinking about this guy as a potential husband or that guy as a potential husband, and people saying, oh, you need to be so focused on Jesus. Yes, I get that. I have to be focused on Jesus. But because even when I did try to fast and pray and be deeply focused on Jesus, and then all the red pilling I got over the last 5 years about finding out how many people are human trafficked and exploded through the doors of the fellowships, and how bad it is out there, and it's horrific, and how many people have gone through so many, especially within the last years or so. And I'm like, Lord, I'm getting all this red pilling and the horrific stuff that's going on in society, and all the craziness and all the red pilling on everybody's not all human. I got a video on my Rumble channel. It's called In My Current Situations. On my Shelly Loved One Rumble channel, it's called In My Current Situation. I sent it to a guy. I DM'd this video to this guy. I wanted to leave me alone. He did not get back with me after I sent him that, because a guy that ain't right, that video, if a guy ain't supposed to be with me, that video that I have on my Rumble channel called In My Current Situation, it will scare him away. I said a lot of stuff in that video. I had typed something, and it's I had said stuff, and I had a disclaimer at the beginning of it. And then I went into the video, because I have some of my videos on this channel, and I have on my Rumble channel, where I actually just typed something up, and I had an audio reader. And then some of my videos in audio reader were it's read in a British accent. I like the British accent. So if I come across somebody who has I like accents. I'm crazy about accents. Whether you have a northern accent on the, because people that's towards the north has a north accent, like people from New York, New Jersey, and stuff like that. Accents, and then some people have a foreign accent. I like people's accents. I'm sure, and I like the southern accent. I like hear people talk, they have a southern accent, and people, they have people on the West Coast, they have accent too. People that's like from California or Washington State, they have an accent. People who are different parts of the country, of the U.S., have an accent. I heard somebody told me I had an accent because I'm being from where I am from. I have an accent? But I'm crazy. I like accents. And I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy. And people, I like to hear. And I have, and where I work at, I work with a bunch of immigrants on my job, and I hear their accents. And people don't realize that I like accents. I know people saying, "You talking about people's accents?" Yes, I am. I'm great. I like accents. And there's like where you're from. And I like to hear people talk with the different accents. I know, it's crazy. Whether it's a northern accent or a southern accent. And I have family members who have strong southern accents and my late mother, she was from North Carolina, but you didn't hear it. You didn't really hear the accent. Dad has some words he talks as might have an accent, but I never heard it. But my uncle, family members have accents. As I know, I'm really strange about accents. Like people say, "What's an accent?" Accent means like you talk a certain way and like how you pronounce your words and stuff, like where you're from. Like somebody who are from different parts of the U.S., they have a certain accent. They talk a certain way, and how they speak on their words a certain way. They pronounce their words a certain way. And I will leave that there. And I might put in the description of this video in my current situation because I talked about it. And I might put that in the description of this video called "In My Current Situation." I might not. I might not. But just check in the description of this video because anyway, I don't even know if people are really gonna watch this video because this video is longer than what I planned it to be. All right.